welcome back to Once Upon a Melody, or welcome if you're new. I'm Melody, and welcome to another episode in K-pop history. Today we are discussing the first generation of K-pop. In my last video, we learned about the groups s.e.s and Boys, which if you haven't seen that, I will leave a card at the end of this video so that you can go ahead and check that out. And we also talked about the start of K-pop music as we know it today. s.e.s and Boys paved the way for more creativity and more Western sounds in K-pop. Today we are talking about the very first generation of K-pop idols. What is first gen K-pop? So what do I mean by first generation K-pop? Well, they are groups and idols that started their careers around 1996 and generally broke up by 2003. Each K-pop generation usually lasts a certain number of years and are defined by a certain period of time and cultural trends of that time. For example, we are moving out of the fourth gen of K-pop now into the fifth gen. For the first generation of K-pop idols, this generation was defined as the time of the Big Three. The Big Three is the name for the group of producers that trained and debuted these idols and continue to rule the K-pop industry even now. They include SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, and JYP Entertainment. SM Entertainment and The Formula. SM was the leader of these three companies at the time and created the formula or pattern that these idols performed under. They believed this formula would make their groups the most successful and famous out of all of the other idols. SM was started in 1989 by Lee Soo-man and is one of South Korea's largest entertainment companies and has been responsible for creating and popularizing the careers of many K-pop stars, garnering huge global fan bases. In 1993, the company hit a bit of hard times after their main idol, Hyun Jin-young, was discovered using an illegal substance. This caused the company a lot of time and money, and they had to come up with a new way of making idols. SM then developed this new type of training system that was to define the first generation of K-pop. This training system formula is choreographed and synchronized dances, plus catchy music, plus coordinated outfits, plus good looks equals success. SM had teenagers audition for a spot in the company, then train them in groups of 5 members. These 5 members would have specific roles in the groups, such as lead vocal, sub-vocal, dancer, rapper, and visual. They would dance together in what was known as a group dance and performed point dances that could easily be copied by their teen fans. The groups would release a title track, the most promoted and catchy song of their album, and 1 or 2 B-sides, or other songs that showed the main concept of the group and the members' personalities. Along with music videos for each song, they would then take a break before their next release, or comeback. You may recognize many parts of this formula today because it is still mostly used by 4th and 5th generation K-pop groups. With less of a focus on the hip-hop sound that made s.e.s and Boys famous and melodies that were catchy and easy to remember, SM debuted their first group with this formula, h.o.t. h.o.t, which stands for High Five of Teenagers, consisted of the standard 5 members, Moon Hee-jun, Jung Woo-hyuk, Tony An, Kang Ta, and Lee Jae-won. SM producer and CEO Lee Soo-man gained information from polling teenage students across Korea about what they wanted to see in a group. Kang Ta was the first to join after Lee discovered him at an amusement park. Next were friends and singing partners Hee-jun and Jae-won. Woo-hyuk was 4th after winning first place in a dance contest, and Tony joined after auditioning for SM and Lee Soo-man in LA. Debut, awards, and controversies. Their debut album, We Hate All Kinds of Violence, was released in September of 1996 and sold 1.5 million copies. The song Descendant of Warriors was their first single, and its lyrics spoke out against school bullying. Their second single, Candy, with its happy bubblegum pop melody, made the group popular, especially among teen girls. h.o.t also won their first award with this album, which was Best New Artist at the Golden Disc Awards. Their second album, Wolf and Sheep, won them 2 awards in 1997, grand prize at both the Golden Disc Awards and Seoul Music Awards, and their third album, Resurrection, released in 1998, won them the same prize the following year. However, all this success was not without controversy. The single Wolf and Sheep from their second album was banned from the radio, much like many of Sotaiji and Boys' songs, because of using curse words in the lyrics. Their lead single, Line Up or Make a Line, was accused of plagiarism with a similar sound to Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine, a group Sotaiji also took a lot of inspiration from. Despite this, the song still went on to win the International Viewer's Choice Award at MTV Korea's 1999 MTV Video Music Awards.
Goes to h.o.t.
First of all, we would like to thank our producer 이수만 선생님 and 영진이 형, and the music video director Bong Joon-ho, and thanks to our fans in Korea. Thanks to MTV. Thank you very much.
1999, a year of success. In addition to the MTV win, 1999 was a busy year for h.o.t. The group released their live Greatest Hits album, performed alongside Michael Jackson and fellow first-gen group s.e.s, who will also be covered in this video, at a benefit concert, and released their fourth album, Aya. The album, which was inspired by a tragic fire at the Sealand Youth Training Center in South Korea, sold over 1.3 million copies. In the same month this album was released, h.o.t. became the first K-pop group to perform at the Seoul Olympic Stadium for 72,000 fans. Y2K, widespread fame. In 2000, the group performed for a crowd of 13,000 fans in Beijing, skyrocketing their fame in China and across Asia. This inspired SM and the other big three groups to promote their groups more in other countries besides South Korea. The group also starred as futuristic soccer players in the film Age of Peace, which, despite the group's popularity, was unfortunately a box office flop. Disbandment and protests. In spite of their success, the group could not reach contract agreements with three of the members, Tony, Jaewon, and Woo-hyuk. This announcement completely shook their fans, and some of them even protested SM. A few of these fans took it even further and threw rocks at SM headquarters windows, blocked major roads, and claimed that SM had acted unjustly towards the group's members. It was later revealed that the contract disagreement was over the group members' pay, which was only $10,000 for every 1 million albums sold. That's only about $17,347.51 in US dollars today. For their first album, that would have meant that they each earned about 26,000 US dollars per member. To put that in perspective, that's less money than I once made as a secretary. Kitties. Solo careers. Kangta and Moon Hee-jun were offered exclusive contracts with SM for staying with the company for their solo careers. Kangta debuted in August of 2001 with his album Polaris and is still a solo artist with them as of February of 2022. Hee-jun made 3 albums under SM before creating his own company, PS Entertainment. He then signed under s.e.s HQ in 2005, Cohen Stars in 2015, and TN Nation Entertainment, his former group mate Tony On's label, in 2017. He is currently signed with IOK Company and welcomed his first baby with fellow idol Crayon Pop's Soyul in 2017. In 2018, the group reunited without involvement from SM and hosted their own concert, Forever h.o.t, in the Seoul Olympic Stadium with 100,000 audience members watching on. The other 3 members formed the group JTL under Yejeon Media and had some success before disbanding in 2003. They currently have moderately successful solo careers. Tony On moved on to acting and hosting, along with creating his own production company. Woo-hyuk created his own label, WH Creative, and dropped his 4th single, Tonight, in 2021. Jaewon released his first studio album, No Pain No Gain, in 2005, but has mostly been out of the spotlight since then, although he does update his Instagram frequently. With that, our time with h.o.t. has come to an end, but during this same time, SM had another group that debuted, and you probably guessed that it was indeed a girl group. s.e.s. s.e.s, which stands for the 3 members' names, Seiya, Eugene, and Shu, debuted on November 1st, 1997 by SM. Bada grew up poor in Wondogun, Jeonnam, South Korea. Her father was ill and they lived in a church-provided container home for 9 years. She was scouted by Lee Suman and was also revealed as the first group member. Eugene came from Seoul, but also lived in Guam during her childhood before returning to Korea and joining SM. Shu was born in Japan and loved playing sports before joining the group. S.e.s was the first girl group to debut under SM. Bada was the leader, main vocalist, and main dancer. Eugene, or Eugene in Korean, was the lead vocalist, lead rapper, visual, and the face of the group. Shu, the only one to use her birth name, her mom is Japanese and her dad is Korean. She was the main rapper, lead dancer, sub-vocalist, and maknae, or the youngest member. You may notice that s.e.s strayed from the typical SM formula of 5 members, and I couldn't find any information onto why that was, but my guess is that SM wanted a 3-letter acronym as the name of the girl group counterpart to h.o.t. Perhaps to also compete with popular 3-member girl groups of the time, such as Destiny's Child and TLC, so maybe that's why they didn't have 5 members. Debut and success. s.e.s was by far the most popular and recognizable of the first-gen girl groups. Their first album, I'm Your Girl, sold 650,000 copies. Their original image, or concept as we would call it today, was innocence, and their music consisted mostly of love songs. Their second album, Seiya and Eugene and Shu, was released in 1998 with the songs Dreams Come True and I Love You, and also sold around 650,000 albums. They also released a Japanese album, Meguruyau Sakai, and continued to release Japanese albums and singles, but they were not as popular as their Korean albums. A changing image. From 1999 to 2002, the group released 5 studio albums: Love, A Letter from Greenland, Surprise, Choose My Life You, and Friend. With each release, their concept changed. Love debuted a darker image as well as a larger budget. The music video was filmed in New York City and cost SM over $1 million US. This darker concept was subsequently dropped for the other songs on the album in favor of a simpler one. A Letter from Greenland continued this simpler image, and Surprise reintroduced a happier and more pop theme while avoiding the cutesy image of their debut. Their last 2 albums, Choose My Life You and Friend, continued the more mature image they were curating. The last single, Soul to Soul, or pronounced s.e.s, was darker themed, with each member engaging in scenes that portrayed mental instability. This song, perhaps as a result, was never performed on TV. Other than this incident, s.e.s mostly managed to avoid controversies during their active years. Disbandment and reunion. In December of 2002, the group officially disbanded after unsuccessful contract negotiations with Bada and Eugene, much like h.o.t. Their final release, a compilation album titled Beautiful Songs, released in mid-2003. Member Shu kept her contract with SM and remained with the company through 2006. In 2016, the members reunited to celebrate their 20th debut anniversary. They released a single, Love Story, and an album, Remember, the following year, with 2 songs, Remember and Paradise. During this time, they also starred in their first group variety show, Remember, I'm Your s.e.s.
이잖아. 그때 이렇게 높은 아파트들 없었어.
나는
기다리고.
그것하면
앤디랑. 앤디랑?
앤디랑 수영이 같이 갔는데
같이 다녔어?
수영이 맨날 조느라 고개를 이렇게 그렇게 360도 돌렸을 때는
진짜?
In March 2017, they held their final fan meet titled I Will Be There Waiting for You. Solo projects. After their disbandment, each member pursued pretty successful solo careers. Bada released a solo album in 2003 called A Day of Renew and starred in a total of 10 musicals, winning Best Actress at the 3rd Annual Musical Awards. She also appeared on the show Idol School as a judge that helped form the group from as 9.
만들자. Cheers. Cheers. 좋았어.
Eugene went on to sign with P-Full Entertainment and acted in a handful of K-dramas. She also starred in a musical and hosted several TV shows. Shu, the only member to remain with SM, signed under Jin Entertainment once her contract ended with SM in 2006. She released a mini-album titled Devote One's Love. Other first-generation groups. Of course, h.o.t and s.e.s are not the only groups to have rocked the first gen of K-pop. DSP, s.e.s and fin.k.l. s.e.s debuted in 1997 and disbanded in 2000 under DSP or Daesung Planning, and re-debuted in 2016 under YG. They were direct competitors of h.o.t and also won multiple awards and recognitions. The 6-member group pioneered the idol scene and fandom culture as we know it today. DSP also debuted a girl group called fin.k.l, which stands for Fin Killing Liberty, or the End of Oppression and of All Freedom, a name which was chosen by the South Korean public, which is why it doesn't have a great English translation, because the name was chosen before the actual meaning of the name. The 4-member group debuted in 1998 and was s.e.s's direct competition. They had more of an R&B ballad sound compared to s.e.s's pop. While their first albums were very successful, selling around 700,000 albums each, their later albums sold less than 300,000 and were poorly promoted by their company. The group released their last album in 2002, and despite not officially disbanding, each member has since gone their separate ways. And by 2006, each of the members had left DSP. v.o.x. My personal favorite first-gen group debuted in 1997, a few months before s.e.s. They were the first girl group to break into the Chinese market, ushering in what was known as the Asian Wave, a group of successful Asian bands that made it big outside of their respective home countries. The group had 3 #1 hits and their fair share of controversies. Several of the members were replaced over time, with only 2, Heejin and Easy, remaining from the original lineup. Their concept was edgy and cool, but they eventually dropped this image as it was not popular with their audience at the time. Moving to a more girly look, their final album was released in 2004 and contained songs in English, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. It also had appearances by Tupac and J.Lo. Tupac's mother also almost sued the group for using an unreleased track of his that was not authorized by his estate. 2 members then left the group in 2004 and 2005, and they officially disbanded in 2006. Notable mentions: 2 boy groups, g.o.d, who had a friendly concept and appeared on many variety shows to appeal to younger people, and Shinhwa, who had masculine visuals and a strong fan base, were also popular at this time and made huge waves in the first generation. So what happened? Why did these first-gen groups start dropping in popularity and eventually disband? Well, aside from the controversies and internal management and financial struggles, a lot of the general public were no longer impressed with lip syncing. I think this is something that still holds true for K-pop fans today. If a group is discovered to be lip syncing, no matter how difficult the choreography or the actual song is, they are dragged through the mud and netizens everywhere revolt. This thirst for authenticity from artists, combined with the change in promotions to digital spaces, ultimately led to the downfall of the first generation of K-pop. But new artists were rising from the ashes, ready to take their place in K-pop history. Join us next time for episode 4, Solo Artists and the Second Generation. Thanks so much for watching today, and don't forget to drink some water, take your medicine, Eat something if you haven't done those things today. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do that down below. I would love to see more of your faces here next time. I will see you in the next one. Bye.